Sue from the Mountain Canary Company. Ed wants to talk to you a little bit about the care and feeding of a packer in the backcountry. Go ahead, Ed.
Hi folks, thank you very much for coming by to visit with me. Over the years, mind you, my experiences have been predominantly in a form of work. And I started out packing, and if I take overnight trips, I would really start to hit the hungers at the end of the trip. Because what would happen is I would go down and get a Subway sandwich, and I would bring it home, wrap it up in tin foil, making sure I didn't have any mayo or onions on it, because those go bad really quickly. And that was my meal for the day, for the night in. And I'd throw in a can of beer and maybe a handful of peanuts, and that's what I got through for that day. My meal that night. Next morning I'd have a breakfast bar and I'd hit the trail. That didn't last long. I got to a notion that I was just getting no energy at all out of it, and I was no kid. So next thing I decided to try was military ready to eat meals, MREs. And so I went down and found a bunch of leftover Vietnam or whatever MREs that were older than Methuselah's Ghost, and I used them, and they were pretty handy. There was a lot of food there, and I could get a heck of a meal out of them, and a heck of a meal that held me over till the next morning, and sometimes even into the next day, because my breakfast at that time was just a simple breakfast bars, which were basically oatmeal bars. Well, then I can tell you a little story about that. Here I am sitting in Duck Bush Campground, Upper Duck, raining like you cannot believe. The rangers are over there trying to get a fire going. The place is full of their smoke that you can't, because they can't get anything really going. I'm sitting underneath my slicker with a part of a tarp pulled over my head, with a meals ready to eat over in a corner there, heating up with their chemical heaters. Now, I was a pretty happy camper. When that came out, it was hot, it was filling. But after a while, I got pretty burned out on those things. So I decided to look around and see what the hikers were using. So I started dealing with some of the hiker food, like an example of this, and there's many different brands. If Sue can see this, I'm not sure. Can you focus in? Is it okay? This is what they call a Mountain House meal. It's all dehydrated. So I started using these for a while, and they're like, and sometimes eaten like cardboard. But they filled a hole, and that was the important thing. But they weren't filling it good enough. So I spent a lot of time paying attention to what was, and I'll pick my pointer up here. It's on the back of it, the nutritional factors. How much protein they had, how many carbs they had in it, and what was I going to get at the end of the day, because this was going to be my only meal in the morning, say for example. That was going to had to carry me through into whenever I got back into camp that afternoon, late, or that night. That's all I was going to have to eat. That's all the energy I was going to have. So I started using these, and I found that the most important meal, as is normally for all of us, is our breakfast. That was the meal that got me through for the day. And so we'll go through how I doctored these up now. I got tired of eating this cardboard, and so I started doctoring them up. So first thing I did was so this is how I make up my meals at home. Before I go to work, I know how many meals I'm going to have in there. I'll program those meals. Now, you're saying, well, Ed, I don't do this kind of work. Well, the thing about it is, you're still probably going to be going in camping very similar. And some of these ideas may float for you. You can prepare your meals ahead of time. It's a lot simpler. You don't need near the cooking facilities, and so forth. So what I did was I'd get one of these meals ready, Mountain House meals, and we'll just go with breakfast here. I usually, and this is why there's probably one still left in the house, this is a single serving. I usually took and looked for the Mountain House breakfast with 2 servings in them, a double serving in them, and that would give me quite a bit more food. And I am fond of the scrambled eggs with bacon, or the well, I can't remember the other one right now, but the scrambled eggs with bacon. And this is the one I doctor up considerably. So the first thing I do is I go out in the kitchen, I'll set them out and start breaking them up to what I have. Because there's certain things I want to have in each meal. And they'll all end up in one big plastic bag when we're done. One of the first things I dig out is I dig out some real lemon juice. These are little packets. They're small little packets, and I add one, 2 for every meal. In this type of, boy, they're really glued together good. I didn't realize that. They're little packets, and I'll dig out 2 for breakfast. Now that's giving me some vitamin C, and other nutrients in here I need for healthy to keep the day going, because I'm going to be working my behind off. Now I'll put them on a pile. The next thing I do is I realize I need a couple things going. I need to get some kind of fruit or something into me, and the easiest way to do that are these simple little squeeze bottle. See it okay, Susie? Apple sauce goodies for kids. Man, they work wonders. You just work wonders. I'll spin the top off that, roll it up, and drink 2 to 3 of these at a breakfast meal, along with everything else. Now, these are very nutritious. If you're going to be in there for a couple days, they just help your insides working really much better. You're going to feel a lot healthier, you feel a lot better. You're not going to be all plugged up. And I don't mean your nose. Now, one of the other things I do is I add either a package of instant grits or oatmeal into my. That's all that goes in this quart-sized jar into there with 2 or 3 of these, and I add that, which this is all going to, except for the applesauce, is going to go into there when I start to put hot water in it. And then I dig out I've got some real bacon bits now. I'm going for some flavor here, folks. I'll just rip this thing open and I'll add a couple good chunks of bacon bits into my bag, which will also go into here. And that will all be packaged up in one quart bag, and then this all will be packaged together in one piece. Now, this is all important is hot water. You got to have boiled water. So I'll take and put my bacon bits, my oatmeal or instant grits into the container once I've opened it, and I will add 2 packs of lemon juice to that. And I mix it, stir it all up, pour my boiling hot water in, and seal it back up again, sit down, and then start working on my coffee. Now, especially in the morning, as I've mentioned before, I get up very early to take care of the animals because I have to roll out. You don't have to as a recreational packer. There's a couple ways to deal with coffee, and for a long time I was using these Starbucks instant coffee packs. They come up with they come out to be a little package, and they come up with these little jobbers like this. You know, they're not too bad in a pinch, but after a couple of years of using those, I got realizing I really wasn't that fond of them, and asked myself, what's wrong with real coffee, Ed? Duh, nothing. So I decided I'd end up doing getting a coffee press. So this is my latest one. This is Stanley. I've used all kinds of different ones. Excuse me. I've used all kinds of different ones, and this, goodness gracious, goodness, this is really, to me, is a really nice little press. You just put your coffee and water in here. It's got a fill line. Put this in. There's a filter on the bottom of it, and this is your press item. And you just slowly compress it when it's done its thing, and then you pour and drink. So you get probably 2 decent cups of coffee out of that. And as I said before, my crew, if I've got a couple guys with me or gal, we've got 1 or 2 people with me, I don't bother them in the morning to take care of my animals. I've taken care of the animals myself. Letting them sleep, letting them get in their bedrolls, and no big hurry for them to get out, because I want to kind of like the time there. Sitting there with listen to the tweeterers wake up and listen to the river rush, and kind of gathering my thoughts for the day, what I have to go do ahead of me. So this is really important. It's really nice little gadget. It's made by Stanley. It's really small. It'll fit into a pack box very well. And that's the other thing. We could do a lot of different things a backpacker can't. We've got containers that an animal's going to be carrying. But remember, we're also going to be taking in stuff for the animals. So we're going to need space in there for their needs. But in reality, I usually have probably, on a 4-day run, I'll have, a 3-day run, I'll have 4 gallon bags, all set aside, dedicated to my meal. And other thing that works kind of nice in there is I didn't realize I didn't have any out here, was rye crackers. Now I tend to find a rye cracker and take it along, and I'll get a can of, once a year or so I'll buy a can of cheese, and that's my treat. That's spread the little cheese out on that rye cracker, and a couple things happening. I'm getting the fats and proteins out of the cheese. I'm getting the fiber out of the rye cracker. So I've learned, by being back in there, to kind of plan your diet. You don't want to just deal with catch can. You're a long way from any place if you have discomforting issues show up. So that's pretty much how I do my meals for breakfast. And some other day we'll visit other ones, but this is the one I've gone with. Now remember, I'll just go down the list again with you. I'll take one of these Mountain Housers, preferably 2, for breakfast. I'll add some bacon bits. I'll put in a package of instant grits or oatmeal. I'll take a couple, 2 or 3 of these and consume them. These are really nice. I used to take fruit in Dixie cups. Well, I busted a couple of Dixie cups in there before. And the other thing is that they're just not quite as handy as these are. These are really handy. And put a couple pinches of packets of lemon juice in there, real lemon juice in there, and put boiling water in. Now the thing about it is your boiling water issue here, you'll have to end up putting more in. And you're going to want to make sure you do a good stir in it. But again, it's sure easy to do, and you sit back and by the time you got the animals fed, your coffee just got ready to drink, and this is sitting over there. You get this started, sitting over there against a rock or something, doing its thing. Man, all's right. That's on this big blue marble. I'm having no complaints at that time of the morning. Okay, folks, I hope this gave you some more insight into things you might be able to consider when you go back in. But the important thing is you're going back in. And you have any questions, personal questions you want to run by us, don't hesitate to contact us. We can be found, our phone numbers on our webpage. So, for now, I thank you very much for coming by. And remember, ride as often as you can, but please, please, please ride safely. We'll see you folks later. Good day now.